And now we're going to beam. And beaming sounds great. I love the term beaming. Basically, all it is you're winding the warp onto the back beam. Hence the beaming. It's going onto the beam. So I am literally winding. Here's the handle. This particular loom wants to wind inwards, which always seems a little odd, but hey ho, it works. And if I now come to the front of the loom and hold this, there you go. You can see that all my threads are in their threading order, all nice and neat. Neat on the back of the loom, neat in the cross, and I'm ready to start threading. Okay, so you've seen the warping, putting on the warp on the loom, the beaming where we wind it onto the back beam, and now we're going on to the threading. The threading involves threading each individual end that you prepared on the warping frame in and putting it through a heddle. Oh, by the way, this is a heddle. This white nylon kind of string, I guess, goes on a frame which is called a shaft, and you're kind of like threading a needle, but it's threading a heddle. And we thread through that gap in the middle. And basically, it's the order in which you thread these on the 4 different shafts that give you the patterns that you can then do with your feet when you're weaving, or with your hands if you've got a table loom. So I'm going to be starting to thread things up, and hopefully you'll see what's going on. I take my first thread, and I'm going through shaft number 4. So the first heddle on shaft number 4, and I push it to one side. Then I want shaft number 3. Bring that across. Select the next yarn and thread it. Shaft number 2. This is the order in my pattern. And my cross, which I did earlier when I was warping up, is here. You can see it there, separating out all my threads. Having threaded, we're now on to the slaying. And slaying is the putting through of the threads that you've already threaded through the reed or the batten. I'm just going to, this beats up against the fabric and sort of makes the fabric one piece. I'm just going to show you how we do that. I'm just taking 2 threads, and each 2 threads I'm putting through one gap in the reed here. It doesn't actually take very long. Makes it much easier to beat up and make your fabric firm. Right, the actual tying on is quite straightforward. You take 2 separate bundles. You can see I've divided them up into 1/2-inch groups again. And you take your stick, which is attached to your front beam, and you move those 2 groups over the top of the stick and underneath, and then you do half of a bow. Then you come to the other side and you do exactly the same thing. I'm not trying to get everything tight as a drum. All I want to do at the moment is get my yarns even. So it's not tension as in really, really tight. It's in tension as in evenness. And that's the first half of the knot. Now you can see from this that I've actually started weaving, a bit cheating a bit, but never mind. And I'm doing a little pattern, which is quite funky when you look at it. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I just weave, and it literally is depressing the pedals and putting the weft yarn through on a shuttle. This is a shuttle. Okay, here's that mug placemat that you saw me doing just now. What I'm going to do to finish it off is to turn the end